Season 4 finale is out, and it's time to see how well it holds up. We'll go through it thoroughly, find some not the best writing decisions, of course we'll look at the animation, how else? At the end I'll make a quick recap of each episode, and we'll see how good the season is overall. And with that, let's start. So it starts with a scene that begs a lot of questions. Will Ultramites arrive on Earth? Or was it Earth? I say this because all of these events didn't actually happen, unless they happened on Earth. This is the exact same place Mark goes to at first, so that should make it obvious. The scene itself is really well made and horrifying, not only by virtue of what's happening there, but also by the fact that this is the last time we'll see good animation in this episode. And the end is about here. PNG zoom in technique. I summon you. Then there's attack jacket blabbering, which importance is portrayed by Mark and Nolan.
I guess what I'm saying is, if it gets real, I'm ready for anything.
Dude, you're a fraud. Beat the allegations first. So our trio arrives and where is Battle Beast? Where is the Space Racer? Don't they need them to protect the Earth better? Why weren't they even mentioned in this episode? Whatever, Mark's on Earth, and damn, this car looks awful. It looks like one of those AI TikTok clips. Legitimately. Anyway, say hi to Thrag. When I first watched this I was like, no way. And yeah, there's no way. Attack Jacket comes back to her dad, and does really Buddy any care about this? Like, legit. What people probably will care about though is Fat Eve. Are we gonna get more on her now? That is not what she's worried about though. She was worried about Mark, but...
Don't you know him?
What was that? It is the most unneeded special effect ever. What does it symbolize? Anyway, is there a lore reason? Oh wait, actually there is. Eve just looks bigger than Mark here, what the hell? Meanwhile, Cecil's trying to get back Robot and Monster Girl, and they all also not reinforce your team with superheroes when doing interdimensional research. Cecil, Buddy. Having normal people with guns ain't the best choice. I swear he doesn't learn. Mark hallucinates 3 more times and I take my words about the animation back. It feels like they were just trying to torture the people who haven't suffered enough yet. Oh, right. Okay, they just wanted to animate them suffering even more. I'm sure there's a king for that. Also, was it ever explained why Thrag's nose shadow overrides his mustache?
No.
Eve finally, after 5 episodes and the longest scene ever,
Are you sure?
says she had an abortion. If she had twins, would that mean she killed more Welchemites than Mark? Animan then goes to the legendary place. Was it ever explained that this is like some famous mountain? Otherwise, how can Nolan point this place? I am pretty sure it would be impossible otherwise. I genuinely think Cecil spanks Nolan too hard here. After all, he is the Earth's most powerful ally. Need I remind you they spent
$400 billion for the world's most expensive nosebleed.
Then there's this remark.
There are still almost 40 of them in hiding somewhere.
I'm sorry, you call that winning?
I'm sorry, you call that prison?
I almost died.
Great start. Nearly died 2,341 more times, and then we can talk.
Is that really the number of people who died? Ain't that kinda low? Or maybe Cecil just cooked up some formula that converts the number of deaths of normal people to the number of almost deaths by Nolan. Truly the Earth's greatest mind. Cecil then, to the disappointment of everybody, doesn't get reproached for the conquest situation. That was the biggest meme for quite some time, and it's gone. I guess it's explained fairly well. Thrag and Welchemites being on Earth is more important now, but it's still pretty sad we're not gonna see this panel. By the way, the animation is not the only thing that suffers here, the dialogues do as well. Like at some point during this dialogue with Eve and Mark, I just started thinking about my own things, like what I'm gonna say in this video. But this is the season finale, and I'm supposed to be interested in every detail, but even on rewatch this is not interesting. I never was a fan of Eve and Mark's relationship, and this is like the second dialogue in the same episode after nothing happened in between. What's the big deal then? The only thing that caught my eye is this shot, and how uncanny it looks. You know, Invincible is rather realistic and restricted in its styling. Of course, there are some exceptions, but this is way too much. Unless they were aiming for this shot to be memey, and I don't think it has the same potential as the Lucan shot. This is just weird. Is that map without New Zealand, by the way? Okay, there's pretty much nothing left, so it's time for this part. Debbie left Paul off f***ing screen, and she's pretty much back with Nolan. What the f***? What was the point of Paul existing? What did it ever change? What difference does he make? Why did they break up? I'll tell you why. It's because he wasn't all superhero-y, while Debbie was. That's it. In the span when Mark, Nolan, and Oliver were all absent, when she was supposed to move in with Paul into a different house, the plug in her butt told her she needs more superhero showdown. She literally has nothing of that sort around her, and yet that's what worries her the most. Or maybe it wasn't like that. That's just what Paul says, because he does have a whole 1-minute scene here. But Debbie only mentions him one time. I still don't get it. What was the point? Make some sex jokes? If so, you definitely succeeded.
Yeah, you and Mom make almost as much noise as Mark and Eve, and I never say anything.
Great use of runtime, Amazon. And just to clarify, I'm not against Debbie and Nolan being together. Some people apparently are, but the writing itself doesn't hold up. There is even this scene where Nolan asks her to look at the view, which forces them to stand together, and he almost touches her. The thing is, she could have seen the same view from where she was sitting. Dude, how did that work? Finally, there is a final scene. Mark flies around, and isn't this the same as the scene from Herm? I gotta say, I was impressed when Thrag appeared. Impressed by how weird the light works in the Invincible universe. Like in the first shot, his nose is fully shadowed. In the next one, only his front is lighted. And then the side. The same thing happens with Mark, like, a shadow like this doesn't just appear from one source of light. And at the end, Thrag just goes full anime mode. This looks truly bad. And that's coming from me, the person who defended him against the baby allegations. Alright, the real thing though. The line where Mark is scared shitless of Thrag is done decently. He hallucinates throughout the whole episode, and at last he faces the real deal. I've seen some people say they felt tension, just as Mark did, but I didn't. The first time with Debbie, maybe I felt it for half a second, but then it was pretty obvious it's not real. And the same goes for the others, especially the Cecil one. Like, Thrag is fast and strong, but can he teleport? And for the overall layer of danger, I've kinda just accepted this episode's not gonna do much. I didn't expect anything to happen, other than maybe some cliffhanger for the next season. Yeah, and I was right. So the Viltrumites are now among people, Creek has already found somebody, nice eye patch. And don't Viltrumites have intoxicating properties? Like they can't feel alcohol and diseases? The same thing for cigarettes, so he's just flexing here. Although maybe this is not a cigarette, because why the hell is it green? All in all, I'm waiting for the Creek Biker subplot next season. Overall, Viltrumites are gonna fuck us, literally, and that'll be it. Although the thing that really bothers me is if they actually landed here, why weren't they detected by Cecil? Like, how? That's ridiculous. And after the credits scene, Thetis tells Alan about the upgraded Scourge virus. I don't know why this is supposed to be some big reveal. We've seen it already and this doesn't feel too impactful. I guess the only question we have to have here is, will Alan use it? But what really bothers me is, why didn't Thetis just use it anyway? I'm pretty sure he knew how strong Thrag was and that their chances weren't really high at all. And here he says that all the Viltrumites need to die anyway. That means even if they somehow won, he still would have killed himself, Nolan and his sons. Then why don't you just do it before you can die? And also, what would have happened if Alan didn't survive as well? Like, no one knows about this virus except for Nolan, who could also die, and some scientists? Whatever, time to sum it up. I think the episode is decent, but it's far from amazing. It is definitely the weakest season finale so far. It also broke the chain of amazing episodes, and ultimately I expected more. So let's sum up this season. The first episode, decent. The 2 new characters that appeared there are undeveloped and need more time. The second episode, great. The Viltrumite backstory was mwah, and the adventures of our duo were pretty cool as well. The third episode, decent. In hindsight though, why was Paul even there? The fourth episode, bad. The biggest disappointment this year. Bad animation, bad story, horrendous power consistency, bad colors, and overall this is just a filler episode. You could totally skip it and nothing would change. The fifth episode, amazing, but I think it's a little overrated. The sixth one is amazing and I think it's a little underrated. It's certainly closer to the fifth one in quality. The seventh episode, absolute cinema, the best episode in the show. And the finale, decent, but I expected more. And to answer my own question, yes, I think this is the best season so far. The animation definitely sucks sometimes, but the Viltrumite War is the best part of the story so far. Alright, time to wait for another year, shitposts are coming, and see you soon!